Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday number 88. What is the cause of depression? Question. What is depression from the yoga point of view? Society says it's an illness that needs to be treated with drugs. How does yoga help with depression? In the yoga world, we actually don't have a word for depression because everything is seen as energy. The mind is energy. Your breath is energy. The channels in your body is for the energy to move through. So my understanding of depression is really it's just when the channels in your body close down. And according to yoga, there's something like 72,000 subtle channels. Like a channel can be a thought channel. It can be a physical channel, but a lot of them are very, very subtle, mental, emotional. So when, energy needs to move through the channel, so if a channel gets blocked somehow, means that if you're living in just your normal life situation, and as a child, say for instance, there's an episode or a trauma where something happens to you as a child, and trauma can be anything. Like it could be just a loud voice, mother saying something to you, and then you started to believe in it, and then you started to think that your free self is not allowed to be who you are anymore. So depression usually starts with an incident or a trauma or something. And so what happens is the words, emotions, all of those have an effect, and they start to close down the body's energy. And so ultimately what happens is if there's enough of those incidences, more and more channels gets closed down. Sometimes there's an episodic event, which means that it's just like one traumatic thing, but it could be huge. It could close down a whole bunch of channels. So in yoga, basically, we are always working on opening up all the channels. So because we don't really have a word for depression in the yoga world, we don't label it, and therefore we don't call it an illness. So it's not an illness that needs to be treated with something. If you're going to treat closed down channels, what you do is you open up those closed down channels. And there are lots of methods in which we open them up. But there's also more therapeutic things that you can do. Like there's the yoga practices, like a lot of physical postures, a lot of breathing exercises, and you should, if you are in a depression, you should keep those channels open. So you should do lots of pranayama and check it out and go and ask for pranayama exercises so that the channels can get cleared. Move the body, get a lot of physical activity, get the blood pumping. This is really essential, very essential. And what you eat and what you put in your body, the company you keep, all of this is really essential for, keeping those channels open. Positive energy around you, keeping a sattvic lifestyle, avoiding rajas and tamas in your life. So when it comes to depression, sometimes what happens on a mental level, we get, say you had a trauma, and let's say you were a kid and your teacher made you feel embarrassed about some way that you are. Maybe you were really active, or you did a lot and you were talking a lot or something, and the teacher shut you down. Now you might have made a decision from that event, and it's a decision in order to survive in future events because that one shut you down. So you make some kind of a decision, and that decision will turn out to be what is your core belief. And a core belief could be I'm not good enough, I'm not valuable, I'm not loved, no one likes me. anything kind of like that, a very negative self-idea. And but this, when you have traumas and when you have core beliefs that are running you in your life, these, and you have a bunch of them, like one stacked up onto the other, and they're never processed, and they're never looked at, and they're never cleared, then you're apt to go into a longer term depression because your channels are continually closing down. Especially if you have a thought or a belief that you repeat to yourself and you say it again. Teacher said it once and you're saying it 100 times a day. So you have to get to those things. You have to clear those things out of the way. You have to get to the root of what is clogging your channels. Once you get to the root of them, they open up, and then your depression goes away. So with yoga practices, therapy of some sort, with your intention to stay keeping those channels open, your depression can disappear, or I could say it will decrease a lot. And you will only feel like a more real human being when you take care of yourself and look at yourself as not as a medical term, but you are a free being and you have lots of energy in your body and they're closed down. So with depression, you meditate, you do yoga, you do pranayama, you do therapy, you do cleansing and clearing of all your past traumas, and come to become a real individual. You need to see that you are a true individual with choice, and that you made choices even in those traumas. You made choices to think of yourself as a bad person, an unworthy person. But now you have choice to change those beliefs. And when you do that, the channels will start to open up again. Okay? Thank you for Wisdom Wednesday, and see you next time. Bye.